And welcome to this lesson, which is paid ads. Now, I would tell you the difference between paid ads in terms of the traffic, the wagon wheel that we spoke about, and attracting people to the landing pages is what it's all about. So social, you will carry on doing that because that is promotional work. Public speaking, friends and family, whatever you're going to bring into our landing page to capture the email address to then add it onto the list. This is the significant part. Now, if you want to increase that by 10 times, 10x it, then you will do paid advertising. Without a doubt, it will at least 10x your inquiries. And this is what it's all about. At the end of the day, we want people on our list, we want the inquiries, and Facebook ads that Ben is going to show you in this lesson is the most powerful way of doing paid advertising. It is economical, it is results driven, and that is what it is all about. So we have alternatives here. We have LinkedIn, so that is where our professionals are going to hang out. We have YouTube, which is more promotional, but then you can do ads on there. So if your avatar might be hanging around particular interior, if they're in the mood to have a refurbishment, to have a new kitchen, to have the hotel designed, whatever your niche is, they will be going into magazines, they will be going into particular areas. We're searching out where they hang out. So Facebook ads and a lot of the advertising now has this ability to refine the search, to profile people, and for right or for wrong, that is how it actually works. So Facebook is linked with Instagram, so the two of those, so the ads will go to both of those fields. Very, very powerful, very economical to do, and you will be getting inquiries without a shadow of a doubt. So Ben is going to show you how to do it, and he's going to show you how it actually works if you are applying it yourself. I've also got another course coming out, which will be a detailed course on this particular subject. So have a look at Ben's video. Let's get on to it straight away.
Thanks, Nick, and welcome to everyone from the Company Interiors Academy. My name's Ben Heath. My company is called Lead Guru, which is a Facebook advertising agency. And I actually work with Nick. I run Facebook ads for him. And he asked me to create a video for you guys about exactly how to create Facebook ads for interior designers. How can you go about finding clients and generating new leads with Facebook advertising? Because you can do it. It's a very effective form of marketing for interior designers specifically. We've got a number of interior design clients. So that's exactly what I'm going to do in this video. So I'm going to go through that process, show you exactly how to do it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to come into Facebook's Ads Manager. Now that's where I am right now. Don't worry about all this stuff down here. This is a demonstration Facebook ad account, so I can show you guys this sort of stuff. If you've never come into Facebook Ads Manager, if you haven't run Facebook ads before, then when you're in your Facebook profile, there will be a little black arrow, a little black downwards arrow in the top right hand part of the screen. If you click on that, in that drop down there will be manage ads, manage adverts, create ads, create adverts, something along those lines. If you click on that option, you will come through to a window that looks like this. So that's how you get to see exactly what I'm working with here. Then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and create a new campaign. So I'm going to walk you basically through the campaign creation process. So if we just call this example interior design campaign. Buying type, you want to leave as auction. Campaign objective, the default is traffic, but that's not what we want. If you're an interior design business, what you really want to do, obviously, is generate leads. So I'm going to go ahead and select the lead generation objective. The way that works is slightly different to other Facebook ad campaigns. So instead of sending people from Facebook to your website for them to do something there, instead with the lead generation objective, people stay on Facebook when they click on an ad. They're presented with a lead form where they can submit their name, their email address, other contact information that you specify, and they can then get in touch. They can then submit that information, and you can reach out to those people and obviously progress them, onto a free consultation or whatever it is, and then go ahead and turn that person into a client. So that's the objective that you want to use, is lead generation. Everything else you can ignore for now. I'm going to just put in placeholder for a second, and you'll see why in a minute. Obviously, make sure that your Facebook page is selected here. I'm obviously, doing this as an example, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my Facebook page, and I'm going to put in placeholder for the ad as well. In case you're brand new to Facebook advertising, you'll see that there are 3 levels to a Facebook ad campaign. You've got the campaign level. Within that, you have the ad set level. That's where we decide who we're going to target, who we're going to advertise to, the audience, where we're going to advertise, the various placements, things like that. I'm going to go through those in a second. And then, of course, we have the ad level under that. Okay, so I want to go ahead and click Save to Draft, and then we need to go through these 3 levels and make sure you've got it set up correctly so that you can get the best possible results, so you can generate as many leads as possible. So the first level, the campaign level, is very, very straightforward. We've got example interior design campaign. We're going to leave it at that. Buying type, we're going to leave as auction. Objective, lead generation. You can turn on campaign budget optimization if you want. The method I'm going to show you is only going to have one ad set, so it doesn't really make any difference. If you do turn that on, then go ahead and select a daily budget. What I'd recommend for budgets is start with something that you can afford to lose. There's no guarantee with any sort of marketing campaign, and if you start with a price that you can afford to lose, then there's very little downside for you. Now, if you set your campaigns up the right way and in line with what I'm going to show you here, I'm very, very confident that you would get great results, but it always makes sense to start small and then look to scale up once you can see that the campaigns are delivering results that you want to replicate and extend. Okay, campaign bid strategy you want to leave as lowest cost. Right, so that's the campaign level, all done and dusted, fairly straightforward. Let's now go into the ad set level. Okay. So as I said, first thing you need to do is make sure that your Facebook page is selected in here, because of course that's what you want to, you want your ads to come from your business's Facebook page. That's what this selection here means. There's a lot of settings in here that I'm just going to sort of gloss over. I'm not going to go through and explain every single detail. If I don't mention it, things like dynamic creative, it's because you don't need to worry about it, particularly when you're just getting started. These are advanced techniques, and for a business that's relatively straightforward to advertise, like an interior design business, you probably have one main service, and that's your interior design services. You haven't got 1,000 products or something along those lines that can make things very complex. I like to keep it simple and ignore a lot of these more advanced techniques. Same with a catalogue. I'm going to completely ignore that. Okay. Budget and spending limits, you can add these if you want. So you can set an end date if you want your campaign to end at a certain point. You can set a spend limit to make sure you don't overspend. That's absolutely fine. That's completely up to you. Those can sort of be protection things just in case you forget about all that sort of stuff in the future. Then we move into audience. So audience is one of the most important components of any Facebook ad campaign. Who you're going to be targeting. Now, when it comes to interior designers, it's actually usually fairly straightforward, because you probably only work with local people who live, near wherever it is that you work, in your area of operation. You're unlikely to operate nationwide or internationally. I mean, yes, you might travel for, you might be willing to travel for a really big project, but for the most part, I imagine you want most of your customers to be, when I've talked to interior designers, they've said within an hour's drive of their office, or an hour's train ride, or whatever it is. So if I give you an example, so if I come in here, I live in a small town in the UK called Cirencester. So if I was to select that, and 25 miles probably going to be too long for a lot of you guys, that's fine, too sort of large an area, so you might want to shrink that down. Let's say, for example, I want to go ahead and put in something like, let's go with 20 miles. Obviously, that's going to be completely up to you. If you operate in the middle of London or New York, then your area might be, geographical area might be tiny. If you live somewhere really, really rural, then you might need to expand your area in order to get the population size up. Now, what you can see here is that when I add in that location targeting parameter, my potential reach, my target audience, is 650,000 people before I add in any other targeting criteria. And that's really important. That's why targeting for interior designers is, in my opinion, relatively straightforward, is because you cannot afford to get too complicated and add in lots of interest and demographic and behavioral targeting options, because you're going to make your audience too small. So what I like to do is keep it fairly straightforward. We've added in our location targeting parameters. We've got 650,000 people. Next thing we need to do is add in some age parameters. Now, depending on your business, exactly who you're targeting might differ. But when I've spoken to interior designers in the past, most have said that the majority of their customers are going to be 35 plus, simply because most people that hire interior designers obviously have to have a certain level of wealth, a certain level of financial liquidity. So that's likely to come with people that are older than that. So there we go, 35, that's almost half their audience. And then, yes, men are going to hire interior designers. but you're likely to see a better response from a female market. Okay, when we've run campaigns for interior designers in the past, we might see something like 85-90% of the lead responses are going to be female. Therefore, it makes more sense, at least to start with, to just go with women. Now, that has brought our potential reach all the way down to 210,000. I don't want to add in any other targeting criteria to narrow that further. I'm happy to run with 210,000. Now again, if you're operating in a much more densely populated area, big cities like London, for example, then you might want to come in here, detailed targeting criteria, and add in some interest-based targeting options. So you could add in things like interior design as an example, and if I just show you, I add that in, you can see my audience has been more than cut in half to 97,000. So you can add these sorts of options here, spend some time going through some of these options. You can browse through the various demographics, interests, and behaviors and see what you think is most relevant to interior designers. But that will depend on where it is that you're located and the size of the population that you are looking to advertise to. Okay, for me, I'm going to go ahead and keep it very broad, just go with location and age criteria and specify that I want to target women. Moving down, don't worry about connections or anything like that. Placements. So placements refers to the places on Facebook and Instagram where your ads can appear. So if I click edit placements, you'll see there are tons of options. Well, there's about 14 different options. You can see 7 out of 7 because we're using the lead generation objective. You can't advertise on all the placements. But there's still 7 different options here. You've got things like the Facebook feeds, Instagram feeds, stories, etc., etc. So lots of different options. When you're just getting started and when you're using the lead generation objective going forward, it's absolutely fine to use automatic placements. It's what Facebook recommends. And when you're using the lead generation objective, you're basically saying to Facebook, look, I want leads. Please generate leads for me. So Facebook are only going to put your ads on places where you're likely to generate leads. They can see that data. After a week, if your campaigns have been running and you're getting all your leads from Instagram and none from Facebook, Facebook will automatically start spending a lot more of your budget on Instagram as a result. And that's why choosing that campaign objective, as we did in the previous stage, is so important, because you want to make sure that you basically put Facebook on your side, tell them what you want, and they will optimize your campaigns for you. Fantastic advantage of Facebook advertising. Okay, so we're going to go ahead with automatic placements. Optimization and delivery, you can leave all that as is, as the default. Absolutely fine. It's going to work wonderfully well. So up here, I name this placeholder. I would now put the what I like to call the ad set is the target audience I'm going to target, because in this case, I'm only going to be creating one ad set, but sometimes you may be targeting 4 or 5 different audiences. So you want to be able to quickly know at a glance who is in which audience and then be able to look at the data and see what performs best. So I think I had Siren, 20 miles, and then let's, Siren 20 miles, and then let's say, what else did I have? 35 plus, and women. So that very clearly describes who I'm targeting in this ad set. Okay, now we want to move on to the ad level, which is you can either click on by selecting this option down here or this up here. And we have placeholder. There's errors, don't worry about that. Now, if you have an Instagram account, obviously go ahead and select that to make sure that you're not only advertising for your Facebook page, but the relevant Instagram account. If not, your Facebook ads will still run on Instagram, but they will just be coming from your Facebook page as opposed to your Instagram account. So I'd recommend clicking on that, selecting your Instagram account if you have one. Okie dokie. So first thing we need to do, and we've got an ad preview on the right hand side. It's just pulled some stuff through from my Facebook page, so ignore all that. The first thing we need to do when creating a Facebook ad, particularly for something like an interior design company, when it's very, very visual, and your images is what you sort of rely on, what you is going to attract people's attention. It's what's going to tell people how good you are at what your job, whether your style suits them. It's going to convey a huge amount of information, is obviously select the image. So I'm going to go ahead and click change image. Now, if you have, so you can see some examples I've got in here in this demonstration account. If you have your own images, which unless you're an interior designer just getting started, you'll have a portfolio. It's very, very straightforward. What you want to do is you want to come in and select upload and upload maybe 4 or 5 of what you think are your best images that really showcase your work and it looks fantastic, because that's what we're going to use in ads. Okay. Particularly if you have a distinctive style, make sure that comes across, because then those images in ads when they show up on people's Facebook newsfeed and stuff, that's going to attract people to you that are interested in your specific style, that really resonate with that style. So that's what you want to do. If you don't, let's say you're just getting started, then what you can do instead is you can come into stock photos and you can just pop in something like interior design. And when you do that, it's going to take a second to load, you have a huge amount of images to choose from. So Facebook have teamed up with Shutterstock, and you can use any Shutterstock image for free in your Facebook ads. It's a fantastic, fantastic thing that they've done for us. So let's say, for example, I wanted to take this living room. Now, as an interior designer, you may say that this image is rubbish or it's not your sort of style. Obviously, you can look through the examples and try and find something that's more in line with your style and that you prefer and you think your audience would resonate with more. So what you want to do is, first thing is obviously select your image. Then I'm going to skip over the primary text. I'm going to go to the headline next. Because with your headline, we're going to need to talk about what you're actually going to be offering in this ad, in this campaign. Now, if you just try to offer your interior design services and you just say, look, I'm an interior designer, come hire me, it's very unlikely to work. You need to have something that's a low barrier to entry offer for your prospects. It's very difficult for someone just to go ahead and hire you and commit to a $100,000 remodel of your home, for example. But if you can offer something like a free consultation, which is what I would recommend, we've advertised this offer for interior designers lots and it's worked really well. If you can offer a free consultation, it's very easy for people to sign up for a free consultation because there's not a lot of risk for them. They can sign up to that, they can meet you, whether it's at their property or your office or whatever, and then you can go about progressing them to a client. Once they've developed a bit of a relationship with you, they've seen some of your previous work, they'll be far more willing to work with you. Okay, so a free consultation, a low barrier to entry offer works very well on Facebook, and it's definitely something that I would recommend using. And because of that, I want to keep the headline very, very straightforward. I want to just exactly demonstrate what the offer is. Because when people are scrolling through their Facebook newsfeed, they're not sort of poring over the ads in detail and paying them a lot of attention. No, you need to grab their attention with your image, and you need to grab their attention with the headline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to go free interior design consultations. Very, very straightforward. Anyone who sees this ad on Facebook or on Instagram is going to know exactly what that is for. It's for free interior design consultations. Okay, then let's move up to the primary text. So this is the text that goes above your image on Facebook mobile, newsfeed and desktop newsfeed ads. As you can see, that's what the preview is for here. If you want to see, by the way, what your ad's going to look like in all different other placements, you can just select here and you can come in and click on Instagram and take a look at Instagram feed and all that sort of stuff. But that's kind of beyond the scope of this video. So when you're writing your copy, think about talking to your target market, your specific target market, and emphasizing the benefits that your service offers. So remember, we're just targeting people that are 35 plus and female. That's it, and live within a certain area. That's it. So we haven't sort of narrowed that down by any extra criteria. So in talking to interior designers before, I know that people most often hire interior designers when they are moving house or redecorating. Those are the times when someone's most likely to work with an interior design company. So how about starting with something like moving house, redecorating, question marks. That's using what's called the call out method. And anyone who is moving house or redecorating is going to be scrolling through their newsfeed. They're going to see that and go, oh, wow, that's me. I am moving house. I'm moving house in 3 weeks time, or I've just started and this new house could do with some help. That's going to grab their attention and hold it so they find out the rest of, they take a look at the rest of your ad and maybe even become a lead. So then you go moving house, redecorating. You could go with something like, will design a beautiful interior for your home and manage the project for you. Something like that. Very, very simple and straightforward. But that's got a couple of benefits in it already for people reading that. Who wouldn't want a beautiful interior for their home? Great benefit. And who wouldn't want someone else managing the project for you? As you know, as interior designers, that's a lot of work. So you can see the sort of thing that I'm getting at here. Okay, in the description, which is what appears beneath this headline in certain formats, you could simply add something along the lines of, in fact, I'll do it. Click here to sign up for a free interior design consultation. Something really, really simple like that. Just, again, emphasizing the action that you want people to take and telling them what you want to do. Display links, so you can see that says fb.me in here. You would just want to put your URL in there. So whatever your website is called, just pop that in there. So if I had like Cirencester interior design, for example, then I would just pop that in there and maybe .com, or whatever it happens to be. And then you'll see that will display in there. Okay, call to action button. I would do sign up. In this case, you can select some of the other options, so you could do learn more, for example, get offer, but I think sign up makes the most sense. We want people to sign up for this free interior design consultation. That's what's offering, that's the action we want to take, so whenever someone sees that button, they go, okay, got it, free interior design consultation there, I can sign up for it, click the button, and good to go. So that's the first stage. You don't have to worry about conversion tracking with this, because you're keeping people on Facebook, not sending them to your website. You don't need pixel and all that sort of stuff to make this work. Now, that's everything we need to do at the ad level, but with lead generation campaigns, there's a fourth element, and that's obviously the form itself. So remember that when people click on this ad, they're not going to be taken to your website where they can inquire there. They're actually going to be presented with a lead form within Facebook, and that's what we need to set up now. So let's create a lead form, and I'll create this one from scratch. So we can just, first thing we want to do is just rename this. So let's just call this example lead form. Form type, more value, volume or higher intent. I would recommend starting with more volume. Now, you may find that the quality of your leads isn't what you want, in which case you can come back in and create a new lead form with higher intent. It basically adds a review step, gives people a chance to confirm their info. Just it will weed out people that perhaps aren't as interested in actually going for this offer. But to begin with, I would just recommend going for more volume. You don't want to make the process more complicated than it needs to be. For the same reason, I would recommend getting rid of intro. It's optional anyway, and why add it in? Okay, then we go ahead and select the questions. So the first thing we need to do is establish this little headline text up here. So I would have, let's say, sign up for a free interior design consultation by submitting your info below. Good rule of thumb with any sort of digital marketing online advertising, tell people exactly what you want them to do and make it as easy as possible. Okay, people don't want to have to work it out. So sign up for a free interior design consultation by submitting your info below. Very straightforward. Now, the default piece of information that Facebook adds into these lead forms is email and full name. And that's great, but there's one other piece of information I would recommend adding, and that is a phone number. And I would strongly, strongly recommend that you add in a phone number. And the reason why is pretty simple. If people just submit their email and full name, and then you try and follow up with them via email, your response rate is going to be really small. Probably only 1 in 10 people is going to get back to you. But if you ask for their phone number, and you can check this ideally at least once a day, you know, the entries that you get, and you can go ahead and call people as soon after they submit their information, you're going to get a much higher response rate. A lot more people are going to pick up their phone and answer, and then you can obviously get that free consultation booked in, as opposed to just emailing them. So I definitely recommend that you ask for a phone number. That's really important. Now, you can ask for other information if you want. You can ask, for example, for their, stopping me, for the country they're in, if you're advertising multiple countries, or more applicable to interior designers would be postcodes, zip codes, things like that. I wouldn't recommend it. You can find out all that information when you call them after they submit their details, but the phone number is really, really key. Okay, with your privacy policy, you're going to have a privacy policy. You're collecting people's personal information, and you're going to need to tell them what it is that you're going to be doing with that information. So hopefully on your website you already have a privacy policy. I imagine most of you do. You just want to pop that link to the privacy policy on your website in there, and if you want to call it, I've got here, view Ben Heath's privacy policy is the default, so whatever your Facebook page name is, it will say view, Cirencester interior designs privacy policy, etc., etc. So just go ahead and add that in. You can add a custom disclaimer if you want. Most of the time it's not required. I'm not going to do that here because I don't have one that's applicable. And then you've got the thank you screens. This is what people are shown after they enter in their details and click submit. So the headline's got thanks, you're all set, your info has been sent to Ben Heath, tap below to visit Ben Heath. So you can go ahead with that, that's absolutely fine. You can customize it if you want to. Your info has been sent to Ben Heath, or obviously that's my page, but let's say to Cirencester Interior Design, who will be in touch shortly to arrange your free consultation. Put the little U in there. And it doesn't like that. Never mind. Again, just telling people exactly what they need to do. And then you need an option down here. So you can either select View Website, Download, or Call Business. That's this button that you can see on the right-hand side. I would just go ahead with View Website. Yes, you could get them to call you, but actually it's usually better if you go ahead and call them because very few people do it. So just do View Website. Button text would obviously be View Website, and then just pop in a link to your website. And this is if people have submitted their details and they want to come through to your website and check you out further. So they may want to have a look at your portfolio or your about page, or just find out more information about your business before they go ahead and meet you. This gives them the option to do so. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and, well, it's not going to let me because I've not added in all the information like privacy policy, but you can just click Save, click Finish. I'm just going to close this down. Yeah, that's fine. And then your lead form will be all good to go. You can click Publish. Your Facebook ad campaign will take around about 30 minutes to go live, and then you can go ahead and enjoy the results that your Facebook ad campaign generate. Now, when you run it, you may need to test a few different ads. So you may need, for example, to have a few different images because different ones might resonate with different people. So bear that in mind, that you can create multiple ads when you set up a Facebook ad campaign and run them simultaneously. But that's the process. It's not overly complicated. It can be very effective for interior designers. We've seen fantastic return on ad spend. And actually, if you do want to work with a professional agency, if you've been through this and it all looks quite technical and you're thinking, how do we do it? And you do want to work with a professional agency instead of doing this yourself, then we can do this for you. So we've worked with a number of interior designers, got great results for them. If you are interested in our services, all you need to do is send an email to ben@leadguru.co.uk. That's my email address. That's Ben at, I'll spell leadguru, leadguru.co.uk, and and just let me know that you came from Nick and you're part of his academy, and I'll get back in touch and explain how we work, pricing, and all that sort of stuff to get you set up with your Facebook ads, and go from there. Because with a business like interior design, it's set up fantastically well for a platform like Facebook advertising. Your average customer value is really high, so you're not looking for hundreds of customers a month, unless you're a very, very large interior design company. You're only looking to work with a relatively small number of people. And it's very easy to get people to sign up for a free interior design consultation. That's not a difficult thing to convince people to do. So best of luck with it. Hopefully that video has been useful, and bye for now. Bye-bye.